All right, so let's go back to when I was a little ass boy. So let's go back to when I was in elementary school and I was just a small, shy little boy who loved to run around and play. It was a very simple thing, but I loved to play tag because I was small and faster than almost everybody, just naturally. So I was just faster. So then I'd see the fat kid as the prey and I was the predator, and as soon as like they tag me, I see the fat kid that's slow as hell, I run straight towards him, tag him. And that's not even an exaggeration. I'm not trying to be an asshole, that's just like what I did as a kid, obviously. So then doing that was something that I just enjoyed doing. So then it led me to want to try and play basketball because my brother would watch the Heat a lot, he would play basketball. So then I took a little bit of interest in it. I was like, oh, let me try this out. But you know, I didn't have much self-confidence and like, you know, just those, I'm just mentioning those character traits because I had the ball, right? And I would try and I wanted to practice. I got a basketball for my birthday. Well, it wasn't this basketball, but it was a basketball. It was a very old basketball. The point is that I tried to practice playing basketball in my house when no one was home. I would dribble the ball when no one was home, but I didn't understand the concept of more repetition, and the more repetitions you put in, the better you get. And the more that you learn, you know, it's a very simple concept that I didn't understand as a kid. So this ball, like imagine this is the ball, I would try and dribble it in between my legs, but there was such like a, not that there wasn't enough space, but there was barely enough space in between my legs for the ball to get through. So it was very difficult for me to dribble the ball in between my legs. Like it would just hit the side of my leg every single time. It would go on the other side. I couldn't grab it. So then I cried about it. I just accepted that I sucked and I couldn't do it. And I thought, oh, I'm not naturally good at this. I can't do it. So then I gave up and then went on to playing some video games. So then I was more of just a gamer. I didn't really go outside too much, even though I did like doing it, but I didn't have too many friends growing up until like more middle school and high school that I started actually doing more activities. So I would play a lot more games. And in the middle school phase, I still didn't go out that much because it didn't really interest me because I was more interested in video games. That's when I played Fortnite. I was one of the best in the world, by the way. I won $100 on one of the World Cup events. I will find the picture hopefully and then put it on here for the proof. Nah, but fuck that game. I hate that game. But then when I actually started getting into those kind of activities again, was during quarantine. And I remember quarantine, we got a bunch of our friend group, and then we played a football game. And that football game we played, I remember I was still faster than everybody. I was still, you know, I had no idea how to play football, no clue. But then as soon as they gave me the football, I was doing, you know, I even broke a kid's ankles on some wet grass because. But then it was more in the high school. Basically, the main point is that towards high school, I started getting back into more physical activities again. I started getting into the gym, mainly the main thing was the gym that I started going to. I got a little bit of muscle, I got a little big, and then also the gym I went to had a basketball court. So then that is when I actually tried like practice more basketball, and I actually got okay at basketball. So then it got to a point where one day I saw that, oh, here, let me tell you another story. In middle school, there was this really tall kid. He was like 6'3", right? And this was in like 8th grade. And at the time, I was like 5'4" or less, maybe like 5 foot or something like that. I don't know. But he would just put his hand all the way up. I would do a really easy standing jump and just give him a high five, right? He would do that like just to, like he would just be like, yo, give me a high five. And I was like, I got you. And just do that. So it reminded me of that, right? So then I'm like, how high can I touch on the hoop? So the highest I could touch was halfway to the net, right? So then it was a thing where I would like, oh, try it over and over again. I was like, oh, why not try it? Why not try it? And then one day I touched the rim. Oh my God. And I was like, oh, wow. And then so that's when I started realizing, like, wait, I still have these kind of athletic qualities, but obviously I was still more of a beginner for my training age. So then I would look at a lot of highlights of like Russell Westbrook or Derrick Rose. Those are my two favorites. Like those kind of highlights of those athletic ass plays, those are my favorites. And then I would look at that like, okay, I want to do that. How do they do that? So then in my mind, my concept of it was kind of internal strength. So I knew it wasn't just like your muscles. I knew there was like I didn't know the terms or anything. I just knew it was like I knew about like the kind of there's stuff. There's more than just muscles. So like bones, tendons, ligaments, all that stuff. But I didn't realize that the muscles are obviously the main drivers. These babies right here are the things that I don't know if you can see. These babies are the things that can produce force. But then everything under, or like the tendons also help with producing force because it connects, the tendons connects to the muscle. But then everything else is more like supporting and stuff. And then like you gotta, get stronger through the like, you'll have pain and then you gotta overcome that and then get stronger. So then I started looking at all these different channels and then I started, consuming so much content on it that it got to the point where I wouldn't even do stuff. I would just consume content on it. And then, but that actually helped me really like learn who was a bullshitter and who wasn't a bullshitter. Now I know like who is a bullshitter and who is not. So then that's where it's pretty much started. Then that's the point where I started, training legs twice a week. And then I didn't really have dedicated jump sessions. I would more so just kind of like try and jump. It was not until one of my homeboys, I thank you so much for this. He got me a mini hoop, or not, well, it's not a mini hoop. It's an adjustable hoop. There you go. He got me an adjustable hoop because he was moving and he wasn't going to be able to obviously bring that. So he would have like, if I didn't ask for it, he was probably just going to like sell it or maybe give it to someone else. So I asked for it. He said yes. His parents said yes. So I thank them for that. Now I have an adjustable hoop in my backyard that I can low rim dunk on and have a lot of fun. So then that is when I started making a lot of gains, because that is when I would start having more jump sessions, and then I would practice my technique too. That was one of the more important things. I would practice my technique. I would practice my jumping a lot, and then it was whenever I would take a few days off that after those few days off, I would jump again. I'm jumping super high until it got to the point where I actually got my first dunk, and this was a complete shocker to me. And the rim was like at the time, because of where it was positioned, it was like probably like 9'8" or something like that. But for a first dunk at my height, I still find that pretty impressive for me. And so here's the clip. And then I'm not gonna go on from there, because from there's pretty much all the content on my channel, and I guess there is maybe a few things in between, but that's the main gist of it. Why I'm doing this, or more so how I've gotten here. I haven't explained why I'm doing this exactly, but that's how I've gotten to this point. Now I'm gonna explain why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Because one, it's more of an inclination for me. It's more natural for me. I find athleticism very interesting, and I love it. It's more so athleticism, not more so the specific dunking aspect of it, the specific dunking niche. It's more so just being athletic and being able to do cool ass shit. But dunking is really cool because you can do cool stuff. And I also find like the anatomy of the body very interesting when it comes to that stuff. And then, in the future, I want to be able to not just be an athlete, but also coach others and teach others how to do what I want to learn how to do, and what I want to teach others to do this stuff, because that's to me would be very, very fulfilling. And so as you can see by the title, I've already dunked the basketball. I've gotten my first lob dunk. It was on like 9-10. I was doing like road to dunking on 10 feet, but honestly there's no point because I can probably already dunk on 10 feet if I obviously do enough attempts. And it's better if I go for something up next. So we're gonna go with a windmill because I do practice my windmills. I feel like my windmill technique is pretty good. So whenever I get that, that's gonna be really cool. So we're on the journey to getting that windmill. And how am I going to accomplish this? If you don't already know, I am on THP, which is Isaiah Rivera and John Evans training. Those are literally the best guys you can watch when it comes to jump training. Just for anything for literally athleticism, those are the best guys you can watch. I've watched them for years before I bought their training because at the time I was in school. I didn't really have a job. I would just watch their stuff and then kind of just copy what they did, but I didn't, obviously do exactly what they give their athletes because I don't, I was on a solo mission at the time, but having a coach can really help you out with that. So I decided to invest in my training, and now it's one of the best investments I've made for my athleticism, obviously, because I got my first dunk after like 4 months on the trainings, or not first dunk, first lob dunk, 4 months on the training. So I've definitely obviously seen improvements. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. That is how I'm gonna improve over time, and you guys are gonna see me improve over time because I'm going to put in the work. That's what they talk about. The goal is the work. The goal is not the goal, like there's a journey to windmill, but the goal is not to windmill. It's just a journey. The goal is to do the work. And honestly, the work isn't that. It's pretty fun to me. It's hard, but it's fun, especially when it's in the weight room, because for the first few months I was on like dumbbell training because I was doing it from home. That sucked more, like it sucked ass. And then I went back to a gym, and that's it's more fun. So then with that all being said, where do I see myself in a few years? In a few years I see myself doing cooler shit. I see myself doing two-hand tomahawks and windmills and double hand behind the back windmills and 360 east bays, and I'm shit. In a few years I do what I can. I'm on the best training, so the amount of work I put in and the work that they tell me, the training that they tell me to do, that they put on my training, and then what I do will give me the result that I want. So whatever I'm doing in a few years is going to be the result of what I'm doing now and next month and next week and, next few months, next few years, and so on. So I'm going to be documenting this, like actually documenting this, to give you a realistic idea of what a journey like this actually looks like. So it's not like some people you'll see on YouTube, and I can't give you any specific names, but there's just a lot of misinformation on YouTube. So I want to give you a realistic idea of what this looks like. So if you're interested in that, like and subscribe. And thank you for anybody that has been watching my content and has been enjoying everything that I've been posting, has been watching, keeping track of what I've been posting and what I've been doing. So thank you for that, and thank you if you do like and subscribe to keep track on this. So I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.